Oh, it helps if I turn on the pop for the music. Here we go.
Okay. This is the time, this is the place, and this is FC3 Monkey Business, your one-stop shop for everything geeky. And since anything is geeky, if you love it enough, you never know what you're going to get. This is your host, IMC. This week, we're going to be chatting a little bit about that phenomenon on the West Coast, the San Diego Comic-Con, the monster itself, and a lot of the things that go on in and around a convention of that size. With me, as always, local radio legend, Billy DeTore.
Huh, who, me? Yeah, I'm here.
We have my usual co-host, the person who keeps me sane on a regular basis, Tanya Mattress, is in the room today.
Hello, I try.
My bouncing baby boy, Ian, is sketching, doodling, and having a grand old time.
Hello.
There he is. Get into the microphone when you say that, would you? We're professionals here. Let's act like it.
Hello.
There he is.
Hello.
Power Ranger fan extraordinaire Ray Reyes is in the house today. How you doing there, big man?
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Christmas in July? Really?
No, it's
Serious?
back to school. That's,
it's back.
That's
okay.
the one in August for back to
Don't
school.
let me remind. Don't remind
Don't
me.
do
I go
that.
back to
I'm
college soon.
I'm still teaching summer school
Going
right now,
back to
so
college,
go away.
to college. I'm going back to college.
Me
Anyway,
too.
And at the far end of the horseshoe,
Someone new.
someone you've never heard from before unless you listen to the local radio. Aaron Sawicki is here in the house today.
Hey, good to be here, everybody.
Producer extraordinaire.
A co-worker of mine has done some work on the Brother Wee show. Now co-producer of the Kimberly and Beck show.
Yeah, I'm on the Kimberly and Beck show right here on Radio 95.1 from 2 to 7.
And then
Because Ben's leaving, from what I understand.
Yeah, he's moving. He's moving down to
North
North
Carolina.
Carolina.
How's that going to work out? I want to know.
don't know
Kimberly
yet.
and Beck don't want him to go.
There's a count. Whenever Kimberly and Beck get a new producer, there is a countdown clock that unfortunately starts. I've noticed that because
It's like a
3 years?
doomsday clock.
every 3 or 4, it's like the Doctor Who thing. It's every 3 years there's
They
a new
get- they
doctor.
they
They
have a-
regenerate the producer into a new person.
Do you still do some stuff for Bob Matthews and such?
Yeah, I'm over on the Bob Matthews show from 6 to 8, Monday through Friday. And then I also host a weekly movie news podcast on the iHeartRadio app. It's called CineChat. And
Nice.
we just wrapped an episode about 20 minutes ago. And I walked in here and saw all of you guys. And
We're like,
Say, hey, come on in, hang out.
Oh, I would love
Cashman's usually with you guys, right?
Yeah, he records with us. He's not feeling well today.
Oh, sorry to hear that, man.
Yeah, so we just we did
Feel better, Rich.
We did a bunch of Comic-Con stuff, so it's sweet that I walked in here and you're doing some more of that.
There you go. See, well, it's that big of an event that multiple podcasts and multiple folks are actually talking about this kind
And
of a
he
thing.
did all the work for us.
And he did all the work for us because we are really. Sherry's been on vacation this week, and Chris is, of course, on vacation with her. Excuse me, and so we're going to be doing that thing that makes Sherry twitch so much. We're winging it today. So, Aaron, thanks for joining us. We appreciate you sitting in and hanging out with us.
Thank
How
you
are
very much
you
for
at
having me.
herding cats?
Well, he's got Kim, so keeping her on point cannot be an easy task.
Neither
No.
can.
And
putting
he's
you
done
on
some
point.
work with Brother Wee's also.
Oh,
and that's,
Lord. So he's
So
battle tested.
He's definitely the
This
professional.
man
in the
is
room.
battle tested.
Okay.
All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to do all of our business, and then we're going to take a break. And when we come back from the break, we'll jump into some San Diego Comic-Con nonsense. But first things first, sponsor shout-outs. If you're interested in sponsoring FC3 Monkey Business and the Flower City Comic-Con, you please contact us, sponsorships at fc3roc.org. You can also ask me direct questions at chris@fc3roc.org. Patreon. What is Patreon? Come on, guys. You're regular listeners at this point. You know what I'm about to say. Patreon is a membership platform that makes it easy for you to support Monkey Business and the Flower City Comic-Con. Please check us out at www.patreon.com/FC3ROC. All membership levels will include access to the Patreon-only blog, plus tons of great perks at all levels, including early podcast, Twitch, and Flower City Comic-Con information. Shout out to two of our amazing patrons. We've talked about them in the past. We're going to talk about them again in the future because we love them so much. Jen Bevan and Jen Green, thank you for supporting us. Jennifer Squared, you guys have been continued support, and we love to have you on board. Apple Podcasts, want to help? Do you want to help? You know, really? I was a professional
Want to
at
help
this.
others find the show?
Seriously. Go ahead, Tanya. You
Please
take it.
leave us a
help
review
me out
on
here.
Apple Podcasts. This is the single easiest way to support the show and encourage others to listen. Every review will be thanked on the air, and any questions will be answered. We want this to be a conversation, so please send us your questions. In addition to Apple Podcasts, you can find us on Google Play, iHeartRadio, YouTube, and Stitcher. Is there a place where you find your podcast and you can't find FC3 Monkey Business? Please let us know. And then also please follow us on Twitter at FC3MB Podcast. And if you do, please say hi. Chris will definitely say hi back.
I'm good at that sort of thing. We
Yes.
should practice. Ray, say hi right now.
Hi.
Hi, how you doing, Ray?
How you
See,
doing?
that's how it works.
That's how it is. So
That's
we love
how it
it when you
works.
say hi.
We are trained professionals. Don't try
So
this at
when we
home.
return, we are going to get into SDCC
CC. All right.
2018.
Love it.
Hello, this is Harrison Ford, and I'm excited to announce that I will be making an appearance at the Comic-Con cluster that's going on in San Diego right now. It's always such a great time hanging around 100,000 idiots in Halloween costumes who've never gotten laid. You guys have no idea what you're missing. Oh my God. Last year I got to bang a Filipino chick who was dressed as Admiral Akbar. It was unbelievable. I just took a Cialis Valtrex speedball and I'm ready to go. Anyway, it'll be good to see all my fans, and make sure you stop by and say hi, especially if you're one of those Pikachu sluts that have been running around here. Daddy's got his blaster set on stun.
Billy, where do you find this stuff? That's
That
what I
was
want
just
to know.
Oh my God, I am so sorry.
No,
For
no,
our
you're not.
listeners, oh,
No, they're used to
I
this
love
by now.
Harrison Ford.
They're
Come
used.
on, that
No,
was just,
you can love Harrison Ford and know that he's a curmudgeon. It's all good.
Yes, he truly is.
All right. How old is San Diego Comic-Con? Does anybody know that one offhand? I know it's been around for a while now.
I think almost 40 years
40?
now. Yeah.
It's almost coming up on 40? That's amazing.
I wasn't around yet.
It was the granddaddy of them all. And I hear
Literally.
Literally. Well, it's pretty much. I mean, I have to wonder, because I know that fan expos and little like collectible conventions and things like that were occurring for a long period of time. But you got to wonder, if it wasn't for San Diego, New York, Dragon Con down in Atlanta, stuff like that,
Yeah.
would the Comic-Con culture ever be what it has become? I don't know, what do you guys think about that one?
I think when it comes to conventions, it's become more of the norm.
Yeah.
Now, because
It's definitely more mainstream.
yeah, because of like all the movies
Uh-huh.
and shows that we have going on. I think back then it was still very much looked at as, what are you doing? And then I think that look would have still been like that to this day if it haven't taken off.
Oh. Ian just handed me some information. It was inaugurated March 21st, 1970, 48 years ago. So San Diego Comic-Con is 6 months older than I am. Okay, so there we go.
1970?
1970.
That's my mom's year.
There you go. And
I was -2.
-2. Not yet a twinkle.
No.
Almost there.
Not even a twinkle.
But, and it's funny, we say this often, and, I think we've benefited from this in this particular podcast. We've been at this for a couple of years now. We're in season 3 of this podcast at this point, and we've said often, the geek shall inherit the earth.
Yeah.
And it really, I mean, it's a lot of this culture has kind of gone mainstream. Like, D&D is more popular. The comic book movies have become more popular. Go ahead, Aaron, you got it.
It's cool to be a nerd now.
It is.
It is one of those things. Back in 2008, when I first saw The Dark Knight as well as Iron Man, it changed me.
Exactly,
And
man.
ever since then, it's gotten more and more mainstream. A lot of my friends that would never look at a comic book are the biggest Marvel and DC fans. It's just been such an awesome thing to see, and I'm still excited for what's coming.
Right.
What else are they going to do? What other superheroes they're going to bring in? What other team-ups can happen? And yeah, it's just part of the zeitgeist at this point. It's just pop culture.
It is, and I think, and it's not even just a local cultural conscious. It's become a global cultural conscious. And it was funny, you were talking about team ups. I thought that was Infinity War was a big thing for that, where you were seeing all these Marvel superheroes that have been gracing the silver screen. You're starting to see them in combinations you didn't expect to see them when you started watching the movies. But for the diehard comic book fans, seeing Tony Stark and Stephen Strange in the same frame, you're looking for
Fangirl out.
the awesome. Come on, awesome facial hair bros.
Come on, Thor and Rocket.
Thor and Rocket together.
Maybe you
That
can
was
understand
inspired.
Groot. You speak Groot?
Yes, it's an elective in college. I mean, that was
Listen,
the throwaway
Rabbit.
lines were amazing.
Oh, yeah.
So, and I'm looking forward to having you join us on a regular basis, Aaron, when you get a chance, because I really want to pick your brain about some of the stuff, because I know how these guys think at this point. So having different...
Fresh meat.
Fresh meat. That's an interesting way of putting it, but okay.
Well,
Pick
according
away.
to Chris, he never wants to enter my brain, so he needs somebody
No,
else's brain to enter.
There's too many Power Rangers in your brain.
Yeah,
right now.
and then the Power Ranger slash fic. That's no good. No
Actually,
bueno.
I don't do that.
See, it's hiding back there somewhere. I'm guaranteeing it. So I'm just avoiding that like the
Getting
plague.
back into like
But yes.
the nerd culture and things like that, and Marvel has trained us
Yeah.
to sit through
It
the
really
credits.
has.
So my friend Sean and I sat through the credits for Incredibles 2 just because we've been trained by Marvel
Yes.
for nothing. So there was nothing at the end of Incredibles 2.
It ended and we're like, wait, what?
Wait, so no, last night I saw Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, whatever. The movie finishes and the
credits
start rolling and they're doing their song and whatever at the end, blah, 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 blah. So I turn and look at Sean. I said, well, this is not a Marvel movie. We can leave.
No, not in any movie anymore.
No, people are taking advantage of
There
that.
was an end scene after the credits that I missed. I'm like, damn it. Now, granted, it's only like a little cute little
Little Easter
whatever,
egg.
but
Yeah.
I'm just like, well, I'm like, I should know that Marvel has trained me to sit through them.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm like, oh, it's not a Marvel movie. I
Well,
can
Ferris
leave.
Bueller started
And I'm
it.
just like,
Yeah.
I
I mean, Ferris Bueller was the first, end of credit scene.
But they kept things rolling through the credits just to make sure people stuck around.
Oh,
if
that's
you
true,
remember,
too.
Rooney was on the school bus.
Yeah,
to
yeah,
keep
yeah,
you
yeah.
looking
Right.
during the credits till you got the Ferris at the end. Well, why are you still there?
Why
Go.
are you still here? Go home.
Although now that I'm thinking about it, young Sherlock Holmes that came out in the 80s with Nicholas, I can't remember his last name, the actor who played the part, but that had a scene all the way through the end. But anyway, and now here we are. And Aaron, this is what we do. We tangent. Okay?
This is where you have to herd the kittens.
We have a tangent button on my podcast. It's not even a
Nice.
button. I just go, tangent.
Tangent.
And that's it. We'll go off and just talk Star Wars for 10, 15 minutes. And
The podcast was about My Little Pony, but
we all work it together.
that's awesome.
Yep.
That's
So
awesome.
back to
So like I said, the geek shall inherit the earth,
SDCC.
SDCC. Was it the first major Comic-Con? I don't think so. I think New
I don't
York
think
is a
it
little
was. I think
older.
Well,
Yeah.
it started small though.
Yeah,
I-
well, like all
300.
cons do.
yeah.
300 people went to the first
They
SDCC.
said 300 guests. So guests, is that like attendees or is 300 guests?
Well,
Like,
I'm
thinking-
probably it would be attendees.
I would think so.
We often struggle with that with Flower
Yes,
City Comic Con.
attendees,
We work
VIPs.
we work very hard to make sure that people understand who we're talking about. We have the VIPs, we have the exhibitors, and then we have ticket holders. Just
No, those are attendees.
attendees.
Yes.
Attendees.
Yes.
But yes, trying to I
make
can't
sure.
imagine.
I just think it's funny that it went from being, Ramon's being shoved in a locker because he likes this stuff to now people are calling him up like,
Hey,
can you tell
you know
me
a
more
thing.
about
Yeah.
this? It's like,
Well, and it's like we know what it is to try it with a staff of 42 to kind of wrangle just Flower City Comic Con.
Right.
I can't imagine the staff in order to wrangle
I looked into it.
SDCC.
I think it's like 200 to 300 now. I think the number of attendees at the
that,
first
if
SEC is
not
now the staff
more.
and volunteers of the current.
Yeah,
that's insane.
Yeah, when you're one of the number one employers in the city.
yeah, so
Months of planning
Oh, yeah.
just for that one weekend, and it pays off. I haven't really heard any bad stories about
we need to pick their brain.
Oh God, by
And they
heaven.
start planning like day of their convention. Like they're already like, okay,
Well, this is the
what-
pattern we've
what we
tried to
got
get
next?
into with FC3. This was something that a business coach taught us, is that you should already be working on, like, for instance, say we're coming up to the 18 show.
Right.
We should already be working on the 19 show. And then halfway through the 19 show, we should, halfway to 6 months out to 19, we should already be starting to work on
working on
2020. And I guarantee with SDCC, they're probably...
At 2025.
They're
right
already
now.
working 23, 24, 25 at this point. So, I mean, because you got to be able to look ahead. You got to be able to anticipate certain trends. You got to prepare for what exhibitions you're going to have, what attractions, things like that.
Right.
So it's a huge business. This has been a learning experience for us, too.
it has to be cool for the kids that of the people that work for SDCC. Like, my dad works for
Yeah.
San Diego Comic Con.
Yeah.
It owns.
It's a
all-
badge. It's a badge of honor.
Yeah.
Now, is San Diego, is it really truly a Comic-Con anymore? Or has it kind of evolved past that?
I think it's a little bit of both.
I've heard. I read a blog by a writer by the name of Mark Evanier. He's a TV writer, comic book writer, and he says that it can be whatever you want it to be. It's so huge that if you just want a comic book convention, you can easily do it. If you just want a Batman convention, you could do that. I mean, just the schedule, highlight, and if you've got 4 days of Batman stuff, you can not do anything else. If you just want to shop, you can do that. If you want just Marvel, if you want just games, you can do whatever. And like I said, I've been to Fan Expo in Toronto a few times now, which is the third biggest convention in North America. And you can do that there. And a little bit harder than San Diego, I'm sure. But if I wanted to do just a comic book convention with artists, writers, I could easily do it. And I'm sure San Diego is that times, 3 or 4 or 5.
I mean, I was able to do it at NYCC because they split. They have a nice norm to them. Where it's like, this is happening over here. Do you want to go see your movie trailers? The game trailers are happening over here. Go check it out.
The big multimedia stars, the superstars have the big halls
down that way.
And actually, like the Toronto one is in the convention center, which is 2 separate huge buildings. Their convention center is 2 big buildings.
Oh boy!
And so
what we could do with that space? Yeah, seriously.
So it's. I think San Diego Comic-Con is a comic convention and a movie convention and a TV and a video game convention.
Shimmershine is a floor wax and a dessert topping.
Dessert topping, yes.
What do you think, Aaron?
I think it's just a celebration, like I was saying earlier. I think it's more of like a festival. You're going there to celebrate your love. You're celebrating everything that you've grown up with as a kid, and you're re-experiencing it. And like Billy said, if you want to just see Batman stuff, you can do that. If you just want to spend it doing, just different panels, you can do that as well. It's just a festival and celebration, and I'm excited to see what else they can do and also just explore more. I've never been and would love to.
Me too, man. Absolutely.
Earlier this week on the Brother Wee show, we did a thing, what is your bucket list? And San Diego Comic-Con is my bucket list.
Me too.
Which you think do it then. Now, tickets sell out in about 45 minutes.
Typically, yeah.
It's
crazy.
It's expensive. I'm not rich. I don't have Aaron Sawicki money.
I don't know about all that.
So someday I hope to be able to make it there, and because even once you get there, once you fly there, you find your room for the week. You're going to buy just
too much
insane
stuff.
Amounts of things.
Yes,
that you probably have to have shipped back to wherever it is you live.
Why did you buy a TARDIS?
Yeah.
Well, it's because it was there.
Why not?
On sale.
It was on sale for like a couple $100.
Where did you find a Wookiee?
His name is Barb, and he says to respect his life choices. Anyway.
Why do you have a life-size Batman statue? Well,
because why not?
Why not?
Because I had a corner of my living room that it needed to be in.
It needed to be filled,
Yes.
and
Why
he was
so
perfect.
serious?
Yeah, there you go.
Exactly.
So San Diego has evolved and created itself to be this monumental, all-encompassing thing. Then there's going to be something for everybody there, and
to the point where it affects everything. It's now not just at the convention center; it's at businesses all over the place. IMDb has a boat where it has separate interviews. Kevin Smith conducts interviews with
on a boat.
On a boat. It's the IMDb boat.
That's awesome.
IMD boat.
Chris wants a boat now.
I do. I have for a while, and it's funny because I don't swim for shit. I really, it's terrible. But
I don't know how to. I don't like to swim, but I want a boat.
In the famous words of Andre the Giant, I only dog paddle. Anyway, but yeah, now let's compare SDCC real quick to what do we know of New York? Does New York basically do the same thing, or do they try to do a different spin on it?
The formula over there is more of, because I can never do it. San Diego.
San
Diego is more of that larger space. It's
but New York definitely has superstars of film and TV.
Yeah, but I think they keep it more on the this is what's coming,
Mm-hmm.
and then San Diego does. It's still coming, but now it's so much closer. So we're gonna show you the newer trailer to it.
And that's the thing. We were just talking about this before we started recording today. Was the trailers? SDCC always seems to have the best trailers for the first time out. And I'm going to say this right now. Jason Momoa has done the impossible. He has done the impossible. He's made Aquaman cool.
My man.
My man.
I will say this.
Redheads, gotta love them.
Jason Momoa is a very gorgeous man, and I wish to be him one day.
I would.
You're
love
a few
to
tattoos
be him.
short yet.
He actually
I
looks
only
kind of
got
like
two- I got
Roman
two.
Reigns from the WWE.
I wonder if Roman Reigns looks like him. Actually, is what I'm thinking. So let's talk trailers, because that's one of the big things right now. The one that people are talking about the most right now is Aquaman.
Can I say it?
Go ahead.
Shazam!
Okay, that's another one that's out there. Where Zach Levy gets to basically play Zach Levy. You
Pretty
know?
much, yeah.
And what were some of the other ones? We saw the next Fantastic Beasts.
The
trailer.
one that's been controversial is the Titans TV show for DC
Yeah.
Universe's new streaming
I
service.
got
Zach's
a
been-
conversation on that.
Oh
one.
yeah, we definitely got a conversation on Titans. We'll talk about
But
them
the
shortly.
other one, I think it was
I know.
There's
Godzilla.
Doctor Who.
Godzilla, Doctor Who's new season coming up. They gave that a good proper shake.
Glass also.
Glass.
The Glass did look amazing.
Oh,
Night Flyers.
What has Night
How
Flyers?
long has it been?
It's
actually?
based on space sci-fi.
Oh, it's the
based
sci-fi
on-
written by George R.R. Martin.
Yes.
Oh, that should be interesting. Everybody dies in space.
Will
Instead
he
of
finish the
dragons,
book?
it's an airlock, so it's all right.
Will he finish the book?
Will he finish the book?
Sorry.
I'm looking right now at the Den of Geek website with their rundown of highlights from San Diego Comic-Con.
Okay.
And like I say, you've had Shazam, Aquaman, Eisner Award winners, Glass, the Purge TV series, Disenchantment trailer, the Flash Season 5 trailer, Legends of Tomorrow, Judge Dredd, Supergirl
Wait a
Season
minute.
4.
What are they doing with Dredd? Is it another?
Let me look. Hold on.
Is it another movie?
I think there's Judge Dredd Mega City 1 has pilot script ready.
TV series.
So-
Interesting. I see that a couple of old favorites are coming back too, like Star Wars: The Clone Wars is getting a new season, which is long overdue in my opinion.
It's picking up where it left off in 2013.
Okay.
New
Very
footage
cool.
from Wonder Woman 1984.
All right.
Godzilla 2, I think we mentioned. So
Yep.
there's
King of the Monsters.
There's
Yep.
a new TMNT show, which I'm really excited
Oh,
about.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
I'm
Okay.
Yeah,
really
it says
excited
Rise of it.
Rise.
Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja
But
Turtles.
And
look at the
that one,
artwork.
it's
It's like lame.
okay. Here's a
Back
headline.
to the 80s.
Oh, no.
but that one, it's actually supposed to be Raphael's going to be the leader.
Oh boy.
Here's a headline that surprises me.
Tell me.
DuckTale finale cast Don Cheadle as Donald Duck.
Oh my God.
I love DuckTales.
DuckTales, woo!
Sorry.
I've been digging the fact that David Tennant's been providing the voice of Scrooge.
Scrooge, yeah.
Can I tell you, Arrow, yummy.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer reboot in
I
the
heard
works.
about
Whoa,
that
whoa, whoa,
one.
whoa, whoa, whoa! Leave my Buffy alone.
I saw
Too
about
late.
that, and
Nope.
someone posted back to Laura, "Is like, should this be you?"
Yeah. Laura should be Buffy.
I started watching Buffy when my mom started, like literally when it first came out. And
I remember when they said that. I remember when it was announced that they were going to wrap on that show and that season 7 was going to be the finale of Buffy. And I'm like, where am I going to get my teenage angst from? Come on.
The whole CW.
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
I mean, they are remaking Charmed.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if that one's going to get off the ground, to be honest. I don't think that's going to happen.
I think that's going to be difficult.
I
to do.
think one of the ones that will get off the ground though, because it's gonna fit really nicely, is the Sabrina remake. Because it's gonna
They're
be
remaking Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Yeah,
They-
except-
they were
did I know
talking about-
that?
They were talking about that during my interview with Beth Broderick.
Okay.
At FC3.
Does she have anything to do with it?
She has nothing.
No,
to do with it.
it's
No.
a dark version. There's a great comic book series right
Yeah.
now.
Okay.
It's
really good.
Sabrina. That's fantastic, and I think they're doing that sort of the Riverdale spin on
They're gonna connect
Sabrina.
the shows. They're gonna connect the shows Riverdale and Sabrina.
The
And they
Chilling
kinda wanted to
Adventures of
connect.
Sabrina.
They wanted to connect Charmed as well, but I don't think that's gonna work out.
No, I don't think that's going to be forcing it, I think. Aaron, what do you think?
I think they should leave Sabrina alone.
Yeah.
No, if they do it like they're doing the current comic series,
will be
they got to
fantastic.
do it. It's The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. I think right now is my favorite comic out.
I'll have
Really?
to look into
Okay.
it. I didn't even know there was.
I'll bring
a
you.
run
I'll
going
bring you
on.
the trade paperbacks of the what's out so far.
The
I'd love to check it out.
The Riverdale show actually did so good that it got the comic. Now we have the Riverdale comic, and then you have your normal Archie craziness.
Yeah.
out
No,
there.
it's funny
so.
because I started Riverdale and because that was something Billy watched,
Yeah.
but I have not watched like the most recent season.
I
I kind of go like, eh.
No, I haven't gone. I'm waiting for it to drop on Netflix so I can binge watch the whole season.
Season
Maybe
1
that's
and
what I
season
need
2
to
are on
do,
Netflix.
because-
I just want to point out that I'm still a year and a half behind on all the CW shows right now.
Don't feel bad.
I haven't had the time. Whenever my daughter has decided she wants to start Flash from season 1 again. Okay, we've been watching that. I've been remembering how
You're
much
like,
fun
okay.
it was to watch that. Great. But it hasn't given me an opportunity to go and actually catch up on what the hell's going on.
I actually stopped watching Flash and Arrow after a while because it kept getting too CW for me.
Really?
Yeah.
Now what?
It's too
Now when you
drama.
Okay, so
That's
is that what you're saying
That's
by
my-
2CW?
too,
Yeah.
Okay.
like
I
mean, I
guess I
was-
knew Archie was now a vigilante.
yeah.
I mean, I was in
like,
high school when both shows started, so it's like now that I'm older, it's like I don't want this anymore. I want my superhero shows. Give it to me.
Yeah.
Gimme.
Does anyone know if Joss Whedon is coming back for Buffy?
Let me click on.
I haven't heard that
I
one.
haven't
I would
heard,
hope
but I
so.
know-
I would
I
hope
know
he's
he's
at least
a
somewhere in
Batgirl.
the background.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm hoping for. You know,
Yeah.
I wasn't the biggest fan. I've seen maybe a handful of episodes, but the ones I have seen, like, I think he does some really good work on it.
Yeah.
There was some what I got the biggest kick out of Buffy with the little side comments and the one-liners. Not so much. Sometimes not the main story. Although he's had some very deep main stories in that series.
Dawn got kidnapped. Must be Tuesday.
It must be Tuesday. It's the little throwaway lines and the moments for the B characters. You know, I think that's really where the depth of the show kind of came from. People could find something to relate to in that show from any angle.
Yeah.
You know, even if you felt like you were like the outcast and Buffy was your hero and you could idolize the hero, but then somebody would do something in the background and you'd be like, oh my God, I'm in this show.
Joss Whedon will be the
executive
executive producer.
producer.
Very
All right,
nice.
so he'll probably have some
and
guidance
he's
on that.
working
Some
with
say.
Sue Breen on the script.
Who's that?
That's the writer. She's a writer that's worked with Whedon on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Okay. Very cool.
She's hired to pen the adaptation. And it's working with her on the script, which will feature a black actress stepping into the role of Buffy,
All
made
right.
famous by Geller.
Right on.
Didn't Joss Whedon leave Batgirl?
Yes, I did hear something about that. And also, I have to also warn ourselves at this point.
If it's on Fox, it's
we've
gonna
talked about
be,
we've talked about Joss Whedon enough. Fox is trying to cancel this podcast at this moment.
Aaron doesn't get the joke.
Fill me in.
We have this whole thing about not over Firefly.
Okay.
You know, and then Fox
It's a
has
Joss Whedon thing.
Fox has a tendency of canceling Joss Whedon material.
I always heard really good things about that show.
So
Never saw it.
good.
Firefly.
Firefly.
I'll
Yeah.
bring you that
homework.
too.
I love it.
You can knock
Your
it out
homework.
in a weekend, pretty much.
How many episodes?
There was
10?
The
12?
teacher is giving you homework.
There was right. There was 11 overall. I think 13 produced, 11 aired, and then there was a movie.
Okay.
All right, you can knock it out on a weekend easy enough.
Have you seen Serenity at least?
No, that's
No.
another one. Yeah.
See, and that's the
the
thing.
movie.
You got to watch the TV series first, and then the movie will make perfect sense the moment it starts.
They had
Watch
to
the
make the movie
episodes
to
in
wrap it up.
order.
Yeah, you got. Yeah, there's
14
that.
episodes.
14. Okay, good. 14 episodes, and so Fox canceled Firefly for I think it was a Kardashian spinoff.
It was in the Friday night death slot
Yeah,
from 2002 to 2003.
I thought it was for the Terminator show.
and no, it wasn't for Terminator. It was for something else.
Terminator was on Sundays.
Yeah.
so.
But anyway, so the running gag among Firefly fans is that they will never forgive Fox for canceling Firefly. And especially because Fox is so notorious for putting a lot of crap on the air. All right. They have some decent shows, but then there's a lot of crap out there. And when we did one of our early podcasts was about Firefly. And about halfway through, we were really having fun. Everybody's laughing. They're having a good time. And I said, and this just in, Fox has canceled this podcast. and when Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. came out, we're talking about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. We're talking about how it's, the Joss Whedon ties, this, that, and the other thing. And I said, and Fox perked up. And as soon as they heard Joss Whedon was involved, they were trying to cancel it, even though it was not on their network. So,
Hence, ABC owns it.
yes, ABC,
ABC says Fox back off.
So that is always going to be something when we're talking about Firefly, we're talking about Joss Whedon, somewhere invariably along the line, I'm going to make a Fox is going to cancel this reference.
I love it.
So there you have
Well,
it.
you know, even Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has gotten campy at different things.
I have
and-
not followed Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. since they brought in Ghost Rider.
And, well, no, and I'm up to date, and sorry, Sherry and Chris or whatever. It's like they've jumped to space, and then they've come back.
Okay.
So, and now, like, it's
almost like the end of that Pixar movie Bolt, where the pigeons are like aliens.
I've actually never seen that movie.
You got to do. I think you would like that one.
It's cute.
I have been told not to watch Coco at the current moment because my team wants to watch it with me.
Yeah.
For a season finale kind of thing. I'm like, oh yeah, season finale, let's cry.
Yeah.
Box of tissues.
Tears.
No, that was me
Tears are
last
flowing.
night at Mamma Mia.
All right. So circle back all the way around.
Back to SDCC.
Why not? Because tangent. Anyway, and
Thanks, Aaron.
and let's talk about some of the trailers we saw. I mean, we rifled off a lot of the things that had been featured, but let's talk. What is Aquaman the big one?
I would say
Was that-
Aquaman and Shazam.
Aquaman and Shazam were the big ones of them all, and Aquaman is. Are we seeing DC figuring out what to do?
Are they learning from Marvel?
Shazam
Are
has
they-
just the right tone. As someone
I
that
think
always
so.
liked the Shazam Captain Marvel comic books.
Okay.
And Captain Marvel was the Shazam before Marvel's Captain Marvel.
Right.
Yeah.
They kind of usurped
But
that
back
title.
in the
right?
40s,
Yeah.
Billy Batson was Captain Marvel.
Right. I remember that. I actually had one of the early comic books in like a trade paperback.
Can I tell you honestly, I
What?
haven't seen any of the trailers except for the Doctor Who one.
So your homework.
My homework.
Yeah,
well,
seriously.
I mean, I've seen a little bit on Facebook, but I haven't had a chance to go and do any of that stuff to watch the trailers. I get trailers when I go to the movies.
Do you call yourself a professional podcasting host? Come on.
Well,
Come on.
I'm sorry.
I would fire you, but
You can't fire
you're
me.
higher ranked than I am.
Wait, hold on. Go ahead.
I'm the counselor.
Go ahead.
So.
Ray's going to take. He's throwing himself on the grenade.
You're fired.
Ray, you're fired.
Okay.
Okay.
You
there
feel
we
better?
go.
Yes.
Oh,
You don't
immensely.
even work for us. How can we fire you?
He does. He's an intern, sort of. Anyway.
Sort of.
And you're grounded.
So, but
That's
no,
you.
the big thing that everybody's talked about with the DCEU is
Our quality of movies.
well, the movies were. They tried to do
They're
too
too
much.
dark.
They're too dark. They didn't know how to throw a joke in
Yeah.
or keep it light.
Well, the Man of Steel was a bad. That one wasn't
Kind of-
good.
In my opinion, I think that's where it all started.
Well, I would say the Batman versus Superman was like the first one where there's a little bit of light and humor in there when Wonder Woman came
Yeah.
in. It's like, is she with you? No, I thought she was with you.
Yeah.
Type thing.
That-
So that
that's
was
still
like,
not a
But
great
unfortunately,
movie.
that was.
It's not-
But unfortunately,
no,
that was the only joke in the whole thing.
right, but
You
it's
know.
like, but then
Wonder Woman
Justice
was
League
excellent.
and Wonder Woman
Yeah.
was so
Justice
much
League I
better.
just rewatched yesterday,
I
and
liked it.
I still like Justice League.
I
a
still
lot
think
of
it was a good
well,
movie.
Aaron, did you like Justice League or no?
Not really.
Okay.
I
See,
thought there was a lot of good moments in it, but I wasn't sold overall.
I'm wondering if that's what makes it positive for me is that I'm so used to the DCEU. And I'll use the word failing. Unfortunately, I'm going to use it. I'm so used to
It's truth.
the poorer quality of the movie that to see the glimmers, to see those moments of I think these people are starting to get it. That's what made Justice League's a good movie because it looks like it's transition. They're starting to kind of get the grasp of you can be a little bit balanced. You don't have to be just
so morose and dark.
you know.
Right.
See, DC succeeded with the Nolan Batman movies,
Yeah, those
which
three
were
were-
dark. So they thought, let's make them all dark.
Yep.
And no, they're
No,
not.
and but see that takes away from what Superman is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember saying this early on in our very first season of podcasting when we had Wayne on board because he's our ultimate Superman fan.
nerd, yeah.
You know, for me, in my uneducated opinion, for everybody who collects comic books or watches these movies, when somebody asks you who is your favorite hero, you're automatically thinking of your second place or third place choice because everybody's first place choice is Superman. He's the guy. He's the gold standard. And, he's the one you're going to think of first, even subconsciously in a brief second. Boom, you're thinking of Superman. And then you're going to be thinking, well, I follow Spider-Man. I follow Batman. I follow this one, that one. But everybody's always going to think of Superman first. He's kind of like that gold standard of what heroes are all about.
He's the Mickey Mouse of Mickey Mouse is the lead cartoon character,
Exactly.
and everyone else after that isn't Mickey Mouse.
And that's all well and good. It's not to say Ray's all like shaking his head and whatnot, but you still think about him. That's the thing. That's the point. Is he's still in the consciousness. He's Luke Skywalker. He's Captain Kirk. He's Mickey Mouse. He's the guy when it comes to this particular genre. And to have him come out in Man of Steel, and I'm not going to ding Henry Cavill because I think he's a great actor. I think he's really working hard on the part. I think he did the best with the material he was given. Mm-hmm. But it was like, why am I looking at an angsty teenager for 2 hours?
Yeah.
It's just, this is not who he was.
Not even a little bit.
Not even supposed to be. And
because when you think about it, the TV versions of Superman have done better.
yes.
Yeah.
Dean Cain,
Tom
even
Welling.
Tom Welling.
Yeah.
The guy on Supergirl right now.
A lot of the animated series were pretty good as well.
Right.
The DC has nailed the animated movies.
Yes.
Oh God,
Yes.
yeah. The animated series, the Justice League series, the
Even the
Batman
cartoon
series.
way
Oh, the
back
cartoons have been amazing.
Yeah.
I get into those even in my 40s. I still love those
No, I
series.
feel like what happened was they gave us 3 different versions of Superman throughout the movies. With the Man of Steel, you got, even with the origin story, you kind of had that light tone, dark tone going back and forth because they didn't know what they wanted. You had the Batman v Superman because Batman's dark, he's more of the lighter tone, so they had to make him kind of fit with him. And then you got the Justice League movie where they're like, okay, we kind of messed up here. We definitely messed up over here. Let's just make them all light tone, and that kind of didn't work out either.
It's almost
in
like
their favor.
it's almost like they're using the fact that they resurrected Superman in that movie to kind of reboot him mid stride.
Yeah.
So like I got to tell you, one of my favorite sequences in Justice League is at the end. They've ripped the boxes apart, and Cyborg and him are laying there, and they're flat on their backs, and Superman just rifles off. Yeah, no, I want to be dead right now. And Cyborg's like, my toes hurt. Somebody tell me the physics of how my toes hurt. And just, I'm like, oh, God, thank you. They get it. Finally, they get it. It was that moment was like, okay. I think that was the moment that made me think this was a good movie.
Yeah.
Really, to be honest. It's like, oh, they're understanding it. They're changing the tone. They're planting the flag, saying this is where we're going to go. Okay, good. Because Flash, I don't want to give Ezra any dings. I mean, I know he's working really hard.
Any heat,
but
but-
the Flash was ADD, almost autistic a little bit. Is like
Yeah.
a coward.
Just
And
a
I don't
bit,
remember.
yeah.
I don't remember ever Barry Allen ever being a coward.
He kind of gave us more of a Wally West vibe, in my opinion.
yeah.
Instead of a
Yeah.
Barry Allen.
And
Yeah.
the original comic books, Barry Allen's, like in the 50s, when they first brought Flash back in the 50s, Barry Allen was kind of a klutz, a little lazy. Iris was always yelling at Barry for being lazy. So that's when he became Fast as the Flash. It was sort of the ironic twist on,
Gotcha.
on that.
Okay.
And no, he was always late for everything. That was the thing. Barry Allen was always late for things. And now he's
Gee,
the
I wonder
Flash.
why.
May I say one thing though?
Go for it.
When that one scene that I think made this a good movie, when he runs and he just turns his head.
Oh, and Superman's
starts
watching
to
him.
follow him.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
That was a good sequence.
That
was
was a
good.
good
Yeah, when you
scene.
realize that Superman has now got his eye on you and the look of horror across Flash's face, he's like, he sees me. He's watching. Oh, I'm dead.
I did like they give us a lot of Easter eggs with this movie that, though in my opinion wasn't amazing, still was good. You had the race between the Flash and Superman.
Yeah.
Though it wasn't the whole thing. We
The
still
Hall
got
of
to
Justice
see it.
at the end.
The Hall of Justice.
Yeah.
We got to see the resurrection of Superman, which was a huge deal.
Right.
Back when it first happened as well.
Right.
In the books.
How many times have they killed Superman off at this point?
A couple times.
Got to be a half a dozen times at this stage.
half a dozen, but the first time
The Doomsday one is the most famous.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the
Yeah.
first time that happened, my uncle was telling me, he was like, that a lot of people were so shocked that something like this could happen, and then they brought him back. I was like, what? You can do that?
And then now we can talk about Wonder Woman real quick. That I thought that was a great movie. Aaron, what'd you think of Wonder Woman?
That's my favorite DC
Of them.
movie.
Yeah, me too, man. Me
And
too.
then besides that, Man of Steel, those are kind of they
Okay.
go neck and neck for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would have to agree.
Now you're not as
One of
down
the
on
best.
Man of Steel as we were,
No,
and that's cool.
I thought it was a really decent movie for what it was. I think it came out 2011 maybe.
Yeah, I think something like that.
2012, 2011,
Yeah,
remember?
and I'm still waiting for Man of Steel 2. That's something I do want.
Yeah.
I was really into the world building. I liked the character of Superman. I liked a lot of where the direction of that film was going.
I think they just, like I said, I just felt that the character when Superman was just a little too dour. When he's supposed to be the symbol of hope, the beacon, the
Right.
spotlight. He's just a little bit more. Ooh,
I looked at that. He was Superman for a couple days at that point, so that's where
True.
I kind of give
Fair
it
enough.
forgiveness.
Or origin story more than anything else. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I just have a question for like the older comic book fans.
Yeah.
Now, what do you guys?
What are you
feel,
saying?
What do you feel
You
about?
calling me old?
Yes.
Yes.
You're fired again.
Okay.
All right. Carry on with your question.
How do you feel about Cyborg being part of the league now?
See, now
Especially
here's the
with
thing.
the movie.
And the regular listeners will know this, Aaron. This is news to you. I'm more of a Marvel guy.
Right.
All right. I've followed some DC stuff. A lot of the DC exposure I've gotten has been through the animated series, through the movies, through the various TV series, because DC has owned TV. Where they've screwed up in movies, they've owned TV. So that's a lot of my exposure. A lot of my DC experience I get from Billy, because Billy has been a diehard Batman fan all his
And
life.
I've been a DC and the Marvel comics, but mostly DC since the early 70s. And to me, Cyborg was a member of the new Teen Titans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the fact he's a member of the Justice League is fine with me because my only rule is if you're going to do it good. You can put whatever hero in whatever team you want. And I just as long as Cyborg works as a character, that's fine with me. He's in the DC universe. And just about every character has been in the Justice League at some point now.
Yeah.
Right.
From Booster Gold to Plastic Man.
Gold. Booster Gold, the Backstreet Boys
I
of
remember
superheroes.
Booster Gold.
Yeah.
He was in the animated.
Yeah, he was
series.
in an animated series.
So even though if you weren't in the 60s or 70s version of the Justice League that I read with Superman and Batman and Wonder Woman and Hawk, I mean, everybody's been in the Justice League at some point. So
It's like everybody's been an Avenger in the Marvel universe.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it.
That's the thing. Avengers is your main group because X-Men are your mutants.
Yeah.
So you have to be a mutant to be an X-Man. So what happens? How you explain everybody else? Well, you can't. So everybody's going to filter through the Avengers at one point or another.
So Ant-Man's an Avenger.
Ant-Man is now an Avenger. He likes to remind people of that, apparently.
Yes.
I have not seen Ant-Man and Wasp
Neither
yet.
have I.
It
I have to
was
fix
phenomenal.
that. I have to fix that soon.
I only asked that question because I know a lot of people who wanted over Cyborg would want Green Arrow or Green Lantern and
Yeah, but
to fill that role instead.
Yeah.
And then you have Stephen Amell who's like, I'm ready to be in the league. Like,
Yeah.
I'm ready.
I'll do
and
it.
set. I'll do it. And like they did the same thing to what's the one? What's his name? The one that plays
Grant Gustin.
Grant Gustin, who
Grant.
plays the Flash.
He wanted to be the Flash for the movie, and they're
Right.
like, well,
I don't like the separation of the TV and the movie
I don't either.
universes.
That's what was my problem with Justice League, because watching Flash on CW, I love Grant Gustin, and then going over to the movie
We got
to see,
Ezra.
which all well and good, but when that's just like was grating on my
Because
nerves. I'm
I
like,
think
no!
if Daredevil ever shows up in a Marvel movie, it's going to be Charlie Cox.
Yeah.
It better be.
it better, yeah,
It better be.
and if Punisher ever shows up, it needs to be
John
yeah.
Barenthal.
Oh yeah. So now we've got all of this DC. The tide went out, and everybody's like, DC doesn't know what the hell they're doing.
Yeah.
Tide's coming back in. Maybe they've
They're
got
bringing Jason Momoa.
bring in Jason Momoa on the Tide.
Such a
See, do you
handsome
like how I
young
did
man.
that? Do you like the water reference? Come on,
Bring him on. I'm
come
a
on.
water
That was
sign.
that. Thank you. I got a high five for that one. That was that's good
I'll take
segue
it.
action right there. Come on. So Aquaman is coming in on the Tide basically, and so we see this first full look. I mean, we had him in Justice League.
Yes.
And you're seeing a whole different aspect. I don't know. I've never followed the comic books, so I don't know if Aquaman has ever been this badass.
I never read Aquaman, so I can't tell you that because
He always struck me as surly at times.
I just remember him from the cartoons.
Yeah, and
he
was
could
the
man
speak
to talk to
sea
fish.
animals. Yeah.
Yeah.
In the 60s and 70s, he was the
joke.
the guy that you remember from Super Friends.
Right.
Then at some point, sort of during my sort of off years of comic books, he got darker, more King of Atlantis-esque, I guess. And at some point, did he lose his hand or arm or something?
in some,
I don't know.
In the
no.
animated
In
series.
some
In the animated series back in,
universes
like,
or whatnot,
2000 and
he's missing
something,
most
he
of his
lost
left
it.
arm. Yeah.
Yeah, so he got more badass at some point, for sure, at a time where I wasn't paying attention to Aquaman. Because even in like the mid-'70s, there was a period where it wasn't goofy, but it was still the Aquaman with the blonde hair and the orange and green suit that you remember. And then later it became... My favorite version, actually, is... Do you know the cartoon show Brave and the Bold?
Yes.
Batman teams up with various heroes. The Aquaman version of in Brave and the Bold is hilarious because he's just full of ego. He just comes off to me as hilarious.
Okay.
If you remember Kurt Russell's character in Big Trouble in Little China,
Yes.
where he always feels in charge, and
Even when he's completely out of control.
when he has no idea what's going on, that's Aquaman in Brave and the Bold.
Okay, good to know. So let's talk about that trailer. Listeners, if you have not seen the Aquaman trailer yet, go ahead, pause and look it up because it's worth a couple minutes of your time.
Yes.
I think it really sets the tone, and if you were not rooting for Jason Momoa already, you will be by the end of it.
now.
You should be, because I really think that he was the best choice for that character. If you're going to take Aquaman seriously, you cut loose and you take him off the leash, Jason Momoa.
Yeah.
I think Surfer Bro is really the only way they could have gone with it.
Yeah.
I think treating him like an actual character rather than, because, Family Guy makes fun of Aquaman. There's so many references to just how he is sort of, I don't want to say throwaway, but also there's a lot of jokes in that expense. So,
how about Raj doing the Aquaman costume in Big Bang Theory? I don't want to be Aquaman. Aquaman sucks.
And then they all end up doing the Flash, and they all run behind each other.
Yeah.
At some point, like in it was Luke Cage, the Luke Cage TV show, where just as a joke, they had him need to dress up in like that
In
this early 70s, the yellow and blue with the headband. Or
Right.
whatever. At some point, do you put him in as a joke for some reason, the orange and green?
Is it kind of like the Hugh Jackman
The
Wolverine
Wolverine outfit?
Yeah.
Well, I think you've seen the trailer. Aaron, do you think that they're actually... it looked like they were actually doing a throw-in to the original costume.
I think they were too with like the gold
Yeah,
suit,
the gold-
I think.
yeah.
I think that definitely will play a factor in it, especially when he is, trying to be king and all that.
There's going to be a visual cue somewhere along the line where people are going to be like, oh, it's him.
Yeah.
That kind of a thing.
Honestly,
Like this one?
with this Aquaman, I'm kind of hoping that they bring in the fact that he does lose his hand, because that actually ends up being a very major part of him, because he gets what is it, a harpoon,
yeah, a harpoon hook.
the harpoon hook, and it does fire too. So
Oh, goody.
that would be
That has to be comfortable.
that would be kind of cool to see that he gets that hook, and I feel like he became more of he grew with that. Like,
More of a depth to the character.
yeah, that
Pardon
adds.
the more water pun, but still.
Gotta roll.
I'm rolling it with it, man. I think if I try too hard, it's going to start sinking. But anyway.
You get another one.
All right, there we go. I'm on 2 high fives for the day and a couple of groans. This is...
Oh, I see what you did there.
Yeah, see that?
No.
See?
He's a little slow on the uptake
My son sticks with me. It's all good.
today.
The light bulb went off. He's like, oh, wait.
No, it was another part.
Now I'm going,
No.
how can Aquaman swim with this
see.
this armor on?
Because he's Aquaman. He talks to the water.
Okay.
And the fish.
And but what are we looking forward to the most? What do we hope this movie does?
Aquawoman.
Who's playing Amber Heard?
Yeah.
Playing
Yeah.
Mira?
Is that still her in the redhead?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the redhead.
Because I didn't recognize her. I thought it was a different actress for a second
Oh,
there.
it's her.
The color palette is definitely warmer in this movie than a lot of the other ones, and it did throw me off for a
Well,
second.
because they're underwater, so they gotta lighten up the tone a little bit.
Yeah.
That, and also, the Batman v Superman was so dark. I think they are kind of playing with color. And I know Justice League, they had it almost kind of looked like an Instagram filter. On
Yeah.
a little.
It
bit.
really did.
But yeah, I from this trailer, I'm not super hyped on it.
Okay.
But Jason Momoa has sold me, and also James Wan is a great director. So those two as a team, I think this will be a good movie.
Okay.
Yes.
But this trailer hasn't sold me yet.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
I think the trailer was a good.
Oh, yeah, and I see it now. I recognize her.
With trailers usually give away a lot of major points. Like, hey, this is happening, and you go into the movie, it's like, oh, we saw that in the trailer.
Yeah.
But I feel like because we got 2 trailers out of this already for him, but the last 2 trailers have always been very conservative and very like, yes, this is happening, but you don't know when it's gonna happen, and we know everyone knows Mira's gonna be here, but we don't know when she's gonna show up. I feel like a lot of the scenes that we got to see for the trailers are a lot of the scenes that were supposed to be in Justice League for him, but they couldn't fit it in. And that's what we received, or Justice League scenes, and then they're saving the rest for the movie.
And to be fair, when it comes to Amber Heard, I don't recognize her with her clothes on. It's just one of those things. I'm sorry. What? Do I have to talk about the informants or
Tanya, don't feel bad because Jamie would have slapped me too if I would have said the same thing.
Hi, Tanya.
Did I not mention that sometimes we're a little off kilter and off color?
That's fine.
All right, good.
X-Wings?
X-Wings and Katy Perry apparently is a
Katy,
thing.
yeah.
Never mind. I'm not explaining that one.
One thing I'm curious
ahead.
your opinion on is
Yes.
the fact that there's going to be a new DCU subscription service.
I don't like
This is
that.
the first I've heard of that.
Yeah.
Now, is that for
That's where they're going to put up all their movies,
Okay.
the various cartoon shows, and I think original properties like that Titans TV show
Oh, my God.
where Robin controversially says F Batman.
Yeah, that's I saw that trailer and I had to actually stop it and rewind it. Did he just say that? He did. Okay.
Do we know which Robin that is, though?
It's Grayson.
Dick
It is
Grayson.
Grayson?
He's
Yeah.
going to wind up being Nightwing at some
Well,
point, I'm sure.
That's understandable why he's saying F Batman then,
Yeah.
because they do have a falling
Yeah,
out
well,
for
they-
a little while.
See,
Well-
that's weird. As the DC guy, this happened during my comic book dark period, and I've never understood what happened where Dick Grayson doesn't like Bruce Wayne anymore.
I unfortunately don't know that either. I think they contrived something just to try and shake things up.
Wasn't it the fact that he got tired of living under his shadow and being
Yeah, I'm
that
sure
guy,
that
being
happened.
that
Well,
guy?
I'm
who's
sure
always
ego
there?
had something to do with it, but I think there was there was supposed to be some sort of pivotal moment
Yeah.
where Dick's like, "I'm done with you, Bruce," and walked away.
Although they keep coming back and re-teaming up.
Yeah.
I mean, I've read
But
plenty
as
of comics
Nightwing.
since.
Yeah.
But as Nightwing,
But it's Nightwing now.
Well, because he's had, 3 or 4 Robins since.
4 now. It's
his actual son is the new Robin at the current moment.
Damien.
Oh, Damian Wayne. I thought they killed him.
I don't think they
he's
did.
he's come back.
I know Jason Todd,
Yeah.
who came back as Red Hood after Joker
I hope we get a Red
killed
Hood.
him. Then Tim Drake.
Tim Drake.
Who
then-
came back as Red Robin?
Okay.
Red Robins.
Yum. Okay. Now somebody
Wait,
call them
wait.
quickly. See if we can make some money off of that pitch.
Damian Wayne, and then not yet Carrie Kelly.
Yeah, from the Dark
Dark Knight
the Frank Miller one.
Yeah.
Well,
Dark
don't
Knight
forget,
Returns.
there's another female one.
There's Stephanie Brown.
Stephanie Brown. She was Robin for a little while
Wowzers.
because she was also spoiler, and then she became Batgirl, and now she's spoiler again.
Okay.
We have really gone off the rails from
Oh,
SDCC.
when don't we? When don't we?
Well, this
From
all
the
goes
Aquaman-
back to the Titans
the
trailer and
Yeah.
the fact
Titans
that
trailer, okay.
There's a lot I can say about that trailer, but I'm gonna.
Yeah, we'll talk about because there's definitely. I mean, I'm friends on Facebook and social media with a lot of cosplayers now because of Flower City Comic Con.
Yes.
I talk to them, I see their reactions. So when they first see Starfire and first see Raven, the cacophony of flag on the play, it's impressive. I'm going to reserve judgment until I actually watch the show.
Yeah.
To see how this all now to answer your point, Billy, I was not even aware that DC was actually doing a subscription service.
Yeah, let me find
which
that
seems to be the
article.
thing these
I
days.
just had it up. Hold on.
Because I know I'm going to have to eventually. I do want to see Star Trek Discovery, and apparently the only way to do that is is to have the CBS
I got it.
streaming service, which I'm not looking forward to because there's nothing else on CBS I want to watch.
Hey, Big Bang Theory.
I can see reruns of that everywhere, anywhere.
Members of the DC universe can watch exclusive originals and classic favorites, read from an extensive list of curated comic books like you don't have enough to read right now,
I have a stack of books taller than my son.
connect with the DC community, explore the latest breaking news in the ever-expanding DC encyclopedia, win premium rewards, and participate in sweepstakes and contests, and shop for exclusive merchandise.
And now we have to sit there and we have to call DC up and say, "Hey, we just gave you some free gave you free pitch.
And
Can we have free
give us a couple of bucks, please."
Young Justice Outsiders, a TV Titans TV series, a Harley Quinn animated series, a Doom Patrol show, Swamp Thing.
Considering all of that that's going on right now, I probably would actually subscribe to that service just to see all that.
Yeah, because there's a lot of good shows.
Beta
especially
access
Injustice.
opens in August, and then the service will go live later this fall.
Okay.
Young Justice was a really good show that got
Yeah, it
canceled
was.
very early.
It should never have
shouldn't
been. I thought they were
at
doing
all.
a really good job of that one.
The only time they really messed up with that was they had the time jump between.
Yeah, I
season 1
did
and
notice
season
that, but
2.
sometimes you got to do that to kind of evolve a story.
It's true, but like the way that they tried to fix it, and it didn't work. They released a video game.
Oh, did they really?
And that
I didn't. Okay, so
That video game explores that whole time jump, and you go through that whole thing, and then it leads off into season 2 of the show. So you got to play a game watch season 2.
To understand season 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
not into that. Speaking of time jumps, though, there was a great trailer for Doctor Who season 11. And I was excited about that because that's been my jam since I was like 8 years old.
I've only seen one Doctor Who, so this is all you.
Have you ever gotten into the show, Aaron?
I have quite a few friends that have tried to get me into it. I just haven't gotten into it yet. But it is something I've only heard good things about with the different doctors, the different storylines and things like that. It is something I'm interested in. But again, time is of the essence. And eventually, I'll get into it.
It will. It'll happen.
Yeah.
And then there's plenty of material to catch up on. My recommendation as a veteran fan to a potentially new fan is to start with the reboot from 2005 on. Don't try to go back to the classic series until you understand the reboot stuff. And then, like, if you're all caught up and you're like, well, I'd like to catch an episode, ask me or one of the others, and we'll say there's a couple of classic episodes to start with, because if you dive in from First Doctor episode 1, you'll be like,
No.
how did this survive 50 years?
Right, and that's
You
because
know.
I've seen some of the classic episodes before I got into Doctor Who.
I
and I'm
watch
just
them
like,
every once in a while on PBS, and
Yeah.
after seeing the reboots, it doesn't hold
do-
me the
yeah,
way
no.
that.
It doesn't. I mean, I still will watch it. I have nostalgia because I grew up with it. So
Right.
these are episodes I've seen before more often than not. So I can appreciate the crappy special effects. I can appreciate the weird background music. I can appreciate the 10 minutes of them just walking through the streets not saying anything, just to fill in time, because it was a very 26 minutes an episode, 4 episodes per real story, et cetera, et cetera. So I can appreciate all that. So it's easy for me to go back and kind of watch them. But there are times like halfway through, I was watching Talons of Wing Chiang, which is one of my favorites from the Fourth Doctor, and halfway through I'm like, I need to take a break. I'm done. I got to walk away. Where I remember the first time I watched it, I'm like glued to the TV, eyes wide. I'm like, oh my God, this is the best thing ever.
The only Doctor I've watched is Tenet.
Tenet.
I've seen that whole
Yes.
that whole season
Yeah.
already. And if you ever really want to catch up, YouTube. Power of YouTube these
Power of
days.
YouTube. Yeah, but start Christopher Eccleston, the Ninth Doctor, 2005. The first episode's name is Rose. And that's where that's your jump off point. You run
That's
through.
when it was on Netflix.
I
My
binged
wife
the
and
entire
I,
series.
my wife and I started on I had like 2 weeks off over Christmas, and we watched every day for hours and hours through Eccleston and Tenet. And now that it's not on Netflix anymore,
I'm disappointed.
it is, because it's still on Amazon Prime, but it's not collected as well and is in order as I would like it.
See, this is how mental I am for stuff like this. When I finally do get my new house, somewhere hopefully in the next 2 or 3 years, at the rate this has been going,
Actually, we hope in 2 or 3 weeks.
2 or 3 days. Anyway,
Yeah, well.
I know exactly where I'm going to be putting a
Tomorrow?
bookshelf in the foyer. And I know right which shelves are going to be the DVD collections. So,
That's awesome. I'm sort of weirdly the same way.
There we go.
I have
Yeah.
certain box sets. I'm like, this cost $300. It's being displayed. It's
yes,
going right there.
It's going right there.
Yeah.
I know right where it is.
That's funny because you guys do that for your films and stuff. I do that mainly for my comic books and my figurines. Like, if this costs
See, I know-
this much,
He
don't
knows
touch
where his comic books are going to go.
My comic
to.
books are going into a particular corner of the attic that I know is going to be nice and dry and protected. I'm going to have the plastic shelf. It's going to be great.
There you go.
There we go.
See, now I just need the seller's lawyer to call and say, yeah, we got our shit straightened out. You can go ahead and close now. This has been an odyssey. Our listeners have heard me talk about buying this house now for about, I think it's been 4 months since the process started.
in March.
Yeah. I found the house in February, put my offer in the next day after finding it. It got accepted, and then this odyssey began to unfold.
jeez.
And it's like 4 months later, I'm still haven't closed on the damn thing. It's like, oh no, please. I don't have much sanity left. Come on, somebody give me a break. Anyway.
Now, I don't know if this happened at San Diego. I'm just going to
Okay.
Say San Diego, that's fine.
I don't know if this happened at San Diego, but did you guys see that Nathan Fillion actually did a short film as Nathan Drake?
It was a couple days prior. It
Yeah.
was really
prior?
good. Yeah.
And that's from what it's from a game?
Uncharted.
Uncharted, the PlayStation game.
Okay. Yeah, and that, I knew there was significance.
Now,
to that.
I don't like that series,
Right.
but he did great.
It's Nathan Fillion, of course.
It may have been just a short film, but he nailed that role. That was one of his best.
Well, that's the thing. He's a good actor. I mean, people, they think of Firefly. They think of his brief run as, I can't remember what the character's name was in Angel. It was or was it Buffy? It was Buffy.
I think it was the priest.
It was the priest. And then there's been in Castle, of
I
course.
loved him in Castle.
Oh.
And Castle's been replaced by that Rachel Bilson vehicle that is probably not going to survive a season.
What's that?
About to say it got canceled, didn't it?
It's Rachel Bilson, Eddie Caribbean, and she's playing a fallen Hollywood actress who's on probation for some sort of like drunk driving thing or something like that. But she's like tagging along with a cop, and so it's the Castle vibe, but the gender swapped. And they're trying to make it too obvious that the two of them are going to hook up. It's just terrible. It's just a terrible show. But anyway, but anything you see Nathan Fillion in, it's typically good. I mean, he does voice work, he does acting.
He's been Green Arrow and he's been Superman.
Santa Clarita Diet.
He's not Green Arrow, Green Lantern.
Green Lantern.
Yeah, he does the Hal Jordan voice in a lot of the Justice League stuff.
I wouldn't mind him as an actual Hal Jordan.
Yep,
like live action. I think he would be great as Hal.
I think so
pretty
too.
funny.
A little old.
Little old for it now.
Aren't everybody in the DCU at the current moment a little old? Batfleck.
I'm going to say this. I've said this before. Ben Affleck as Batman, my favorite so far.
He's definitely up there with me as well.
And I don't want to throw definitely. You don't throw shade on Michael Keaton. You don't throw shade on Christian Bale.
Adam West.
Those guys were, Adam West, obviously. I will throw shade at Val Kilmer and George Clooney, but that's entertaining.
I like that they're good eye candy.
Not anymore.
I mean,
one of them.
Val Kilmer time has
Val Kilmer's time as eye candy has come and gone.
He's coming to town soon.
Is he really? What's he coming for?
He's going to be at the Comedy Club doing a one-man show as Mark Twain.
Interesting.
And if he comes up here, he's going to sign my copy of Batman Forever.
There you go.
Will you let me know so I can just be hanging out up here?
She'll be in the production booth salivating against the window.
The only thing we don't mention about those movies, the nipple suits.
Yeah,
yep.
Clooney, but
Clooney and
but Ben
Mr.
Affleck, I thought did a great job.
I thought he was great as Batman.
I think for me, because Batman is a two-piece character. You've got Batman and Bruce Wayne.
Yeah,
and
I feel
Clooney was a good Bruce Wayne.
Yes,
terrible Batman. Val Kilmer was all right at both. Michael Keaton was surprising because we're so used to him being a comedian to come out and play Batman and play it convincingly. Bruce Wayne was kind of secondary. We didn't really think about it. But Ben Affleck has really made Bruce Wayne a relatable, real person.
Where's Christian Bale in your?
Christian Bale
is top tier for me. I'm sorry.
He's great. He did great.
He's great. I think the movies aren't dependent on his performance.
Right. I think with the Christian Bale movies is that it wasn't just a Christian Bale movie. It was
a Heath Ledger movie.
It was a Heath Ledger movie. It was
all of their movies.
Morgan Freeman. It was Michael Caine. It was Gary Oldman.
Tom Hardy.
It may have said Batman. It may have said Batman, but everybody's character was
great
very
ensemble
prominent.
cast. Joseph Gordon-Levitt carried most of Batman Rises or Dark Knight Rises.
I like the fact that they made his real name Robin.
Yeah.
I do like that. That was a nice little.
It was. I like that too.
Did you?
Yeah, I actually
when that happened.
Hear it.
I was in the theater and my brain said, "Wah wah."
Well, I knew that we weren't gonna get a Robin. I knew we weren't gonna get a Nightwing because they had already announced this was the last film. So to make him be Robin, that way, that wasn't
little tip of it's a little tip of the hat. Onward and forward.
That made me a little happy because I knew he wasn't going to be Dick Grayson either.
Yeah,
because they didn't.
See,
announce
what
that.
they should have done. The joke they should have made was at the end where the bat plane's flying. It's got the bomb. Mm-hmm. Some days you just can't get rid of a bomb. The old Adam West joke.
Yes. Oh my God.
How did they not do that?
I think what a nice little tip of the hat would have been a shark attacking the Batman.
And he had the shark repellent. He had the bat shark repellent canister.
I need the bat repellent, the shark repellent, Robin.
And when Gotham is in ashes, then you have my permission to die.
I think the guy that actually talks, Sean Connery, would have been an amazing add-on to that.
Sean Connery voices Bane.
In order to do Batman.
No, Sean Connery voices Bane.
I think that was my only gripe.
Batman, I must ask you a question, but I'm saving it for later.
That was my only gripe with that Batman series was Bane.
Yeah.
Because Bane is not very...
talkative?
Yeah.
Talk to Graham Nolan. He came to the first FCC.
And he's Spanish.
He's the one that created the character.
Yep. He's the one that created the character. He was a featured artist at our first FC3. Nice. And so he would tell you more about Bane than we could.
Than I could.
Yep. So, all right. So, tangent time.
Other than trailers, where else can we go with SDCC?
We need to go to SDCC.
Yeah,
Is that
just
what
so
we
we
need to
can
do?
experience, because
Absolutely.
hundreds of thousands of people.
Do a vlog there one day.
Seriously, field trip. We'll take the whole Monkey Business crew. We'll even take Aaron because he's honorary member
Aaron's
now.
like, woohoo!
Free trips.
Yay!
Oh, we didn't say that.
No.
No, I said that.
Yes, he did. Yes, you did. He has stipulations. It's all good.
I still have to pay, but I have to like sit with the luggage.
How are we doing on time, Billyville?
We've been talking for about an hour now.
Really?
Hour
That's
4.
That's good enough.
Yeah.
That's good enough for now. So we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk about some upcoming stuff, and I'll make up a question of the week for the fun of it.
Hold on a second.
We're going to hold on a second. I'm going to vamp.
We've
Vamp
been
like
talking
I'm-
for an hour.
I
About
just
the
needed to
thing
find
we
my
were
music.
There we go.
Looking to attend an accredited higher learning institution that stresses the fundamentals? Then don't come to the University of Florida.
I'm doing my doctoral dissertation on the complex interpersonal relationship between Superman and Lois Lane. Hey, I don't normally sit in front of the computer naked. Really?
Why spend a second longer studying useful skills that will actually help you when entering the marketplace when you can attend the University of Florida and study comic book superheroes?
I'm doing a thesis on how the depleted ozone layer is going to give Batman an advantage over Mr. Freeze. And to my high school advisor, Mr. Pinks, who said I'd never amount to anything, oh yeah, in your face, Mr. Pinks.
Enroll today. Now, take us out, award-winning University of Florida Glee Club singers.
Wow. Is he strong? Listen,
due to overcrowding, underclassmen are no longer allowed to major in gamma radiation research.
there goes the Spider-Man.
See, that's a college class I want to take.
That's
University of Florida's comic book class.
I'd be in on
There you
that.
go.
I think I know where I'm transferring my credits.
He's going to matriculate.
That sounds dirty.
Yeah, it's going to beat me by a second. Damn it. All right, so upcoming events. Unfortunately,
Are
we
we
don't have
back
any to talk
recording?
about at the moment, do we?
Are we back?
no,
we're
Oh, okay.
recording.
Yeah, of course we're recording. We're always recording.
Nope, but
We record our
stay
lives.
tuned. 'cause
Stay
we're
tuned because
looking-
we do have some things in the works.
Yes.
We also have a couple of big announcements coming up about our plans for 2019. Ooh, very
It's
dramatic.
hard to imagine that it's going to be 2019.
Yeah, I know. Seriously, wasn't it just 1973?
Well, with our current president, it may not be.
I know. Seriously, holy Moses. Yeah, just. All right. Anyway, let's talk about some everyday heroes. Do we
Not
have an
all
everyday hero?
No, we don't currently have one.
Do
but
I count?
No.
Not all heroes wear capes. Who is your hero? Do you know of a fireman, police officer, nurse, EMT, military personnel, teacher, or librarian who is your personal hero? If so, please let us know all about that person, and we'll give them a shout-out on the air. Please send your nominations to fc3monkeybusiness@gmail.com.
See, there you go. Now, question of the week. Easy stuff. And I'm just going to throw out, what is the one thing we're most looking forward to in the second half of 2018?
Aquaman. Oh, wait, sorry.
Is that an
Jason
18 release?
December 18th.
Okay. All right.
I was a little quick on that one.
How about you, Ray? What are you looking forward to in the second half of 2018?
Got two things.
Okay.
One, I have to agree, Aquaman.
Okay. Good deal.
And I've never said this before in my life, but going back to school.
Going back to school is a sentence Ray has only just used once
You're
before.
going
It was
into your
5 seconds
sophomore
ago.
year at MCC, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nice. Congratulations,
So's
buddy.
Tyler.
Nice.
I'm a sophomore too.
In high
High
school?
school.
Same thing.
We're still sophomores.
Sophomore jinx. Aaron, how about you? What are you looking forward to in the second half of 2018?
Honestly, just some new opportunities coming my way.
Good deal, man.
Yeah.
Good deal. Very cool. Keep
You know
us
what?
apprised of that.
Can I use his too as my third one?
New
No
opportunities?
copycatting. No take backsies.
Okay.
How about you, Billy?
I got a cool vacation in a couple weeks. Just a 3-dayer, but going to Red Bank in New Jersey.
Nice.
It's on August 2nd is Kevin Smith's 48th birthday.
Right.
And he's hosting a film festival at a movie theater in Red Bank.
Mm-hmm.
5 films, each movie followed by a live podcast.
Nice.
That sounds
So-
awesome.
Are you going to visit the stash?
Yeah, you got to go there to
You
pick
have
up your
to.
tickets. I
Absolutely.
bought my tickets
Very
online.
nice.
First stop, we leave on Wednesday, August 1st. Stop at the stash, pick up our tickets, talk to Walton, Ming, or whoever, Mike, and whoever's there. And then the next day, spend from 9 a.m. until midnight in the movie theater with Kevin and his crew. And
I can't imagine.
There were 377 tickets sold, and we have 2 of them.
Nice.
And because it's Vulgarthon, they were $69 each.
That's amazing.
And I'll be there.
Talking about bucket lists, meeting Kevin Smith is up there for me.
Yeah, me too.
I love his work.
These guys know what a fan I am.
Oh, yeah. We are, too.
He's
Absolutely.
written some amazing stuff, too.
Yeah.
Yes, but you listen to his podcast, Aaron?
I do, yeah.
Yeah, me too. We got to talk, but we don't talk enough.
I know.
How do we not talk to each other?
I used to watch his show, but I heard...
Comic Book Man got
canceled.
Yeah.
I'm still holding out for Clerks 3. I know it's not happening. They're rebooting
Jane Silent Bob,
But we'll have to talk more. Our schedules usually conflict.
Yeah, Tell 'em Steve Dave has a new Patreon that I'm a huge Tell 'em Steve Dave fan, so I'm looking forward to my little 3-dayer in New Jersey.
It's going to be awesome.
How about you, Scorch? Ian, what are you looking forward to?
Not dying.
Okay.
And muffins.
And muffins.
I'm looking forward to some muffins. I'm
Blueberry muffins.
Right now.
So Kevin Smith's 48th birthday is August 2nd.
August 2nd.
My 48th birthday is September 2nd. So I'm looking forward to that. That'll be fun.
And hopefully you'll have your new house by
hopefully
then.
I'll be in my house.
My mother's 148th birthday.
Yeah, okay. She's going to beat the crap out of you. She's not going to stop slapping you for a week.
You see, but I'm over here right now. So it's okay.
I'm also looking forward
just send her the text now.
Doctor Who Season 11. I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to some good gaming at the table. That's going to be fun. Tanya has been Dungeon Master for the past week or two.
Yeah.
And so that was the only... I took a break from gaming because of everything that's been going on with the house and work and stuff.
And you're like, yeah, I'm not going to come back to the game.
And then they were like, Tanya's DMing. I'm like, all right, I'll see you next week. Because I got to see this. This is going to be good.
Yeah. Well, Sean was the one. Our friend Sean was the one that went with me to see Mamma Mia 2 last night.
Your usual movie date.
Yes, our usual movie date. So he's like, I don't die tomorrow, right? I said the post was, your character's not going to die at my hands.
didn't say anything about mine.
He goes, that's awfully open. I'm a little afraid. I said, I won't kill you. I'm like, they're first level. Who knows what could happen this afternoon?
Are you a gamer, Aaron?
Like role-playing or video games?
Either or.
I used to play D&D, but it was kind of a drunken version of it.
Yeah, I've done that.
Yeah,
it was usually just grab a ton of liquor and just get weird with it.
Yes.
And that
was my college days. That's why it took me 7 years to get to my bachelor's degree. I'll agree. I'll admit that right up. D&D and alcohol. So.
Yeah, it was like a good 3 months of that. And then we're like, okay, all right, let's just chill for a minute on it.
Well, if you ever want to get back into a game, let me know. We can make that happen.
I always thought about it because I watch Twitch RPG, and they do like I told you before, they have
Critical Role and things like
Critical
that.
Role, Critical Hit, stuff like that.
Yeah, it looks interesting. I wouldn't mind.
This is the largest group that we have had.
We have almost 10 at the table.
10 characters at the table, plus me as the DM. So it's 11 people around our table in the basement. That table wasn't designed, because it's our dining room table, to hold 11 people.
Right.
And they're all computer chairs like this that are around there.
Bunched around it.
Someone's going to have to get
I think what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to find a way to stash the dining room table and put the 3 folding tables back up.
So.
If it makes you feel better, I will gladly just be a one-off. Like, at the end of the thing, kill me, go home.
Eventually, I'm going to have an attic if you want to break that. I think because the table should come off its pedestal. If you want to store it in my attic, you're welcome to.
I might have to because there's
no way.
The table does come off the pedestal because that's how we got it from the dining room down to the basement.
Right. There's no way. You're going to have to put the 3 folding tables back.
There's no way.
Yeah. All right. So with that all being said, we're going to wrap this one up as we typically do, and we'll be tangenting
have a great
more.
Week.
And I'm hoping that our poor beloved producers are not twitching.
There we go.
Right now, and how off the cuff we were. But this has been Monkey Business, a product of the Mighty Monkey Corporation, purveyors and producers of the Flower City Comic Con, coming at you eventually somewhere along the line in 2019. Love us on Facebook, like us on Patreon, follow us on Twitter and
Twitch
and iHeartRadio and podcasts and yada and yada.
You're tired, aren't you?
I'm exhausted right now. But we love you guys. We miss you, and we'll see you next week.
Dun, dun.